All right, perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for also muting. If you have questions, we will take those later. I'll start with the context. Vivian also be helping me facilitating. Vivian is an experienced AI and ML trainer. He has almost like 200K students now, and he's the one who I'm coordinating with AI programs. We're working together a lot. I'm working with Jagdish, who is going to be mentoring this program. So I'm learning myself a lot because before I start teaching and talking about anything, it makes sense for me to do a lot of research, build some projects, and then bring that knowledge to you. And that's what we are going to do. And that's what we are here for the AI Trinity launch webinar. And this is something I'm really, really excited about. This is something I've been working on for the last maybe 6 to 8 months. And I spent a lot of time researching what it would be required for DevOps to survive and thrive in the world of AI. And that is what we are now converting into a system and a systematic approach and a program. And that is what I am really excited to bring to you, which I believe has a lot of potential to add value to your career. So let's get started talking about what this is about and who is this for. So if you believe in in-depth knowledge, so this is our value system, right? So I'm not just building courses or just programs. It is an entire career transitioning and transformation framework that we want to build. And we want to make sure that we have the right people who are part of this community who resonate with this. So if you resonate with this in-depth knowledge, building real world skills, not just watching but start building, that's what I've been talking about a lot. And having that builder's mindset, which has helped me to get where I am, and that's what I'm trying to propagate here through this community and through these programs and the systems that we are building. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about the AI Trinity. Why does it matter? Also, I would appreciate if you can be on mute so that we are not disturbing the class. We will have enough time to interact with and speak later. So if you don't have questions, I would appreciate if you can just mute yourself actually. In fact, let me see if I can add.
Gaurav, if you can give me access so I can,
Yes,
yeah,
I'm just going to
mute.
make you a host. I'm not sure
Thank you.
about co-hosting, but I'll change the host so that you are the one.
Thanks.
Just make sure that I'm able to. Can you just make sure that I'm able to share the screen?
Yep, you should be.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So we are talking about AI Trinity. I'll also be walking through you. So we are trying to help you build, real world skills using projects. So I'll actually demonstrate few projects to you that you would be actually building once you become part of this program. And what is this system about? And we're going to be launching our first mini degree out in the Trinity program. That is going to be the MLOps mini degree. That's what we're launching today. Let's set up some context for the session. This is going to be about 60 to 90 minutes, right? There will be recording later, but make sure if you're attending to get maximum benefit out of it, just remove all the distractions for the next 60 to 90 minutes and make sure you're present, not just physically, but also mentally here, right? We'll take questions towards the end. We'll take as many questions as you have. I can stay back for a little while later as well, for longer. So whatever questions you have, we'll try and make sure that we answer those towards the end. We have also experts like Vibin and we have Jagdish who can help you with any specific AI related questions, which I cannot answer possibly, right? So we also are going to make a very special offer today. This is going to be a launch offer there is a webinar special offer. And then there is something else that I have as a bonus for you if you stay on till the end. And that's going to be only for today, not later, not if you watch recording, right? For those of you who are new, some of you who have been interacting with me, but those of you who are new and this is my brief background and who I am basically. And before I talk about who I am, it's very important to add a disclaimer who I am not. I'm definitely not an influencer. I'm more of an educator. And it's important to mention that because today the world is too much of a noise that you hear and it's mostly influencer driven. And that is something which is, kind of very noisy, and I'm just trying to find my voice in that system. So I have to be explicit saying that I'm not an influencer, so I'm not optimized on the likes and shares and subscribes. I'm more optimized on building systems, helping people in the real world to build real world skills and help them in their career and have a real impact, right? And that's what I've been doing for the last 12 to 15 years as a corporate trainer. I have been an author. I have authored books and courses. I've spoken at various events, and today I have about 18 years of experience in ops, and that's just professional experience. I start my journey with Linux and operations started even before that actually, and then I have delivered 500 plus corporate workshops that translates to roughly about 10,000 plus hours of corporate training. I mentioned that because there is a saying that when you cross that 10,000 hours threshold, right? That's when you are a true expert, or you can claim to be one beyond that point, right? It's probably 12, 15, 12 or 15K, but I stopped at 10K counting, right? And these are all the companies that I have been at as a corporate trainer, and these are some of the well known. And this is just one page. Probably there could be another page that I can add, but I just wanted to highlight some of the companies that I've worked at, some of the platforms where I have been published, including Udemy, Linux Foundation, edX. I was published via Linux Foundation for some time. I have authored for a book and courses for Pact, and through them, I'm also published on O'Reilly. This is one of my books in 2015. I've been a course developer for Linux Foundation. I'm back with Linux Foundation again, and I'm creating more of micro content now rather than the courses. So I'm associated with Linux Foundation even today as a content creator, or a rather a course author, or a micro content author. These are some of the pictures which depict my journey as an educator. That's when I said I'm not optimized on the number of likes and shares. It's the life, the real people who I've interacted with, and the impact that I've made in the real world. That is what I'm optimized for, right? And I'm apart from being a corporate trainer, author, and educator, I'm a father of twin boys. They're notorious and they keep me on my toes all the time, and a family man, right? And these are my kids, Abir and Kian. And then the school has just started, but this is from last year. And my mission is been to help a million DevOps practitioners to achieve career growth, one product at a time, one mission at a time, and getting 1% better every week, right? And that's what we want to focus on. And these are the metrics I'm really optimized on, and that's what my mission has been. And I'm on my way, like maybe 20% there. I already have 200K plus students if you look at all the platforms that I have published on, right? And I have helped many. There are many success stories that I have contributed to, which is what I'm really proud of. And these are my numbers. These are the metrics that kind of which matter to me, right? And all this knowledge and of being a corporate trainer and an educator and like a content creator is what I'm bringing in to build these systems. So this is what I'm building right now. This is called as a real ops systems or a real ops career framework. I'm trying to figure out the name for it, and the AI Trinity mini degrees and the mini degree itself. It's going to be beyond AI. So we'll have 10 plus mini degrees that we are rolling out in phases, starting with the AI Trinity. And today we will be launching MLOps mini degree. What does it mean? And I'm just creating something to compete with some certification or something. Not really, but by the end of this, you'll have a pretty decent idea about what we are talking about. The goal is the same, to help you build the real world skills, and how to achieve that in the best possible way is what I've been iterating over for years now. Because the idea of mini degree is not new. This is the idea I started with in 2017. In fact, some of you might have been part of that, and some of you have, in fact, I think Shrikar, who is in Germany now, who is a advanced site reliability engineer. He's the one who started with that mini degree program in I think 2017 sometime, and he was part of that first iteration of it, right? And now we are here with a completely new avatar of it. So it is not a new idea. It's just been iterated over to make it better, 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 is what I've been building on. And this is kind of my dream program. I'm finally trying to realize it at scale. So why are we here really, right? So when we talk about this AI Trinity, what is it about, right? And today I don't even have to mention the impact of AI on everything in our life, actually, right? And in fact, today I was trying to create this with AI, of course, and that's what we do today, right? So we're generating everything with content with AI. We're generating the images with AI. I use this creative tool and a platform called as FreePic. Again, you can prompt it and generate the images with that. And what kind of scared me a little bit was also because I was trying to build an image of how AI agents are helping humans, the DevOps engineers, to do their work, is what I was trying to kind of create. What came out of this prompt was really surprising to me. So either I'm a very bad prompt engineer, I'm not very good at prompting, or maybe this is like a foretelling prescient thing that we are looking at, where maybe the agents might take over someday. At least some part of it may be true, but I'll just show you what I'm just trying to see if you can see this. I was trying to prompt it saying that create an image of a how AI is going to integrate with DevOps and how AI agent is helping human developers. And I tried multiple times actually with a little bit of slight variation. I was not detailing it too much, but a few variations of it. And every variation was more like a humanoid bots is what, or human combined merged into bots is what I was getting. Right. So that's the world we are kind of looking at. And the impact of AI is already here. We already see that happen. Now, my quest for the last almost 8 months has been how do we ensure as DevOps practitioners, most of you are mid-level DevOps practitioners. If I'm just, all my messaging is about that. I'm not focusing on the freshers at all. I'm talking about my goal has been to help existing DevOps professionals who are at the mid level of their career and trying to figure out what is next for us together, right? It's a journey and it's a quest that I have been on. And that quest has brought me to this AI Trinity design, right? Because to me, the most logical thing. So let imagine. I mean, worst case could be like, oh, the bots are going to take over the job of a DevOps engineer. But then bots will take over. When that happens, they would take over a lot of other jobs, including QA and maybe developers and so on. So either we survive or either we kind of get replaced. The journey is going to be together, right? So that's the whole point here. So we don't know the future. Nobody knows it. People say that people with AI tools will take your job over. That could be short term. Long term, nobody can predict what is going to happen and what may or may not happen, right? But until then, the best thing that we can do, honestly, is to stay on top of the cutting edge of the AI and DevOps, and that is what has brought us to this AI Trinity. So what am I talking about when I say AI Trinity? If you are an existing DevOps practitioner, and this is especially for the only purely for the existing DevOps practitioners and professionals, if you are one, you have three options basically today that you can explore. Either of that, if you want to specialize in something, but at this point of time, I would say you learn about everything, and the foundations of all are the same. The foundation starts with AI and ML, and that is what I'm calling as a trinity, basically. So, what are the three options or three prongs of that trinity? Are the first is the MLOps. So either you start building the systems related to AI. And that's where I see a lot of potential. That's where we're talking about MLOps, because ultimately AI is bringing new set of technologies that somebody has to build an infrastructure for. So rather than focusing just on just you can take your existing DevOps knowledge and apply it to the new domain, just like how uh, you know 10 years ago we went through the same process when big data came in. The big data has become a normal now, a norm. So data by default is big now. So that has become a norm. But again, if you were a DevOps practitioner at that point of time, it was mainly about understanding the new domain, big data, Hadoop, Zookeeper, and this. I worked on something called a Solar. So how they integrate together Kafka, right? So Kafka has been there, Zookeeper has been there, and then came a lot of new technologies there, right? So that similar thing is happening with the machine learning. And now, just not just machine learning, we're talking about LLMs, we're talking about now agentic AI. Now imagine the agent, when you talk about agentic AI, or when you just go and look at, let's say NVIDIA has released a new tech tool called as NIM, to run their models locally, LLMs locally. How do we run it ultimately is a set of containers. Even if you look at their tutorials, it is all based on containers. When you look at MCP with agentic AI, how do we run MCPs securely, safely? The best way to do that is containers again, right? So ultimately, it's going to translate into the technologies that we already are familiar with. And that is why, even though it looks like a mountain, once you cross that first steep climb, it's gonna be a plateau for you where you can sail very smoothly, and that's the level we want you to want to take you to. And you can get to that level immediately with the MLOps content that we already have. I'll show you an example of that, what I mean by that. And that is because I have gone through this journey very recently, and I understand the same struggles, because when I started, it was a mountain for me. And that's when I tried to figure out how AI ML works, what does all of this mean, and how do I get started with all of this, right? That's what ML Ops has been, right? And then the second prong of the Trinity is the AI Ops. AI Ops is really not new. AI Ops has been there. You will be surprised that AI Ops has been there since 2017. But it was in trenches, and it was just a few companies who were talking about it. And there was no real use case for that, not a lot of tooling around it. And that started changing in 2020, like November or August of 2022, when ChatGPT came in. The whole conversation about generative AI started, and that drove the that gave a big push to the AI ops as well, right? It's the same traditional machine learning being applied, and of course the new generation AI being applied to the AI in operations, basically, mainly related to monitoring, root cause analysis, and that is where AI ops is focused on. Again, even now, AI ops is pretty not very commonplace because it is still driven by certain vendors, but that is changing now with the new technologies and open source tooling coming into play starting this year. That is going to be the second prong of our Trinity. The third is about, I started thinking about it as a Bionic DevOps, right? Because we're talking about, this is more or less, the diagram here is more or less like a Bionic DevOps, where a human who can use the bots or the AI to do things more productively. But now a lot of that is happening with agentic DevOps. So I'm still in the process of deciding whether we call it as Bionic or whether we call it as a agentic DevOps, because you will be building agents, but agents will also overlap. So there will be some overlap where you'll also use agents in AIOps. So that messaging is something I am still kind of, because it is still a bleeding edge that we are talking about, right? And agentic is new. Bionic is more about, you can also be more productive using tools like Cursor and ChatGPT and whatnot, right? So I'm still deciding between what would make sense, because you have to know these technologies, you have to know these tools, you have to be on top of everything in order to be more productive. And in fact, I was just talking to one of the companies I worked at last, and they have adopted AI big time, and they're still figuring out how to use something like Cursor to be more productive. And the stats are 20% productivity improvement already with Cursor, 7% with just the previous generation was the Copilot, and 20% with Cursor. So that's what people are seeing, right? And if you're not doing that, if you're not being productive using AI, uh, very soon you will be just managing the legacy systems, or maybe that is the time when you may have someone else kind of coming and replacing your work with the more productive thing. Okay? Because people will expect you to be use these tools and know these technologies, and you shouldn't kind of left behind in that, right? And that's the whole purpose. So we want to take a three-pronged approach. That's where the AI Trinity is. And that's why I have designed this system where we want to bring in this entire system with the mini degrees. I'll very briefly explain that system, and then I'll actually show you the demo, which is going to be the most interesting part for most of you, right? So it's not just about courses, right? So when we say, oh, we want to take a three-pronged approach and we want to do it in a systematic way, the goal for the system is the same, to help you build the real world skills and achieve career growth. I've realized long time ago that courses alone, because I have courses on Udemy, people buy it and it's just for collection. I was just talking to one of my colleagues. So it's mainly courses is just for collection. You collect courses, but you never look at it, right? Or you don't complete them all the time. So how do we make sure that you're getting benefit out of that is where we need a system. And that system is based on some core values as well, because we want to focus on the in-depth knowledge. The reason why I mention it very clearly is because all my efforts of building anything should go with my core values. Secondly, I only want people who resonate with this to kind of be part of this, really, right? Because otherwise I have my Udemy courses which are much cheaper, available on Udemy directly, and you can buy those and you can collect those, and if you are self learner you can actually learn from those. But for majority of the people, having a system which is more structured and helps you stay motivated, helps you, gives you everything that you need to complete, go through that, be work with the community, is what we are trying to build here. That's why the system. And there are 6 steps that we're going to take, starting with getting the clarity, because I don't want you to get confused, right? Get clarity with the roadmap. So we'll give you the roadmaps. We're going to give foundational knowledges via courses. A lot of focus is going to be on building product portfolio. Our courses do have projects. We'll also have some unguided projects. We'll also be publishing. I've already started publishing weekly projects. I'm going to get to that once I design it. And that is something we're going to continue. Number 4, the step number 4 to uh, build your portfolio and survive and thrive in your career is you have to start turbocharging your skills with AI. You have to start showcasing your work. What I've also realized is it's not just about what you know, it is also about your blast radius, right? How many people know about you and your work. That is also very important. I've realized the hard way, and I want to bring that into the process so that you can start doing that much earlier and get noticed, get build your portfolio. When you go for the next interview, people should know or be able to see your work through the GitHub repositories, through some portal that you can build for your portfolio, through build in public. You can do, if you can do that. And it's important to get into the continuous learning mode, because it's no more about, the pace of learning also has really increased, and you have to keep on top of everything now, right? And here are the 3 secrets that probably no one will tell you about, right? And that's what we want to really inculcate: the hands-on hacker, or a builder's mindset. The hands-on hacker is in a very positive way. Hackers are the people who know the system really well, not the in a negative sense that we are talking about here, right? So the builder's mindset is what I really want to build. Have you start building that really, and I'm trying to motivate people to get into that mode. That's why you'll realize when we reveal the mini degree later and what are the components, we are trying to bring those components into it. The other thing that a lot of people ask me, like, how come you know about, let's say, Chef and Ansible and Puppet, or you're just putting it on the resume? And I used to get that question a lot when I was doing corporate training. But when they realized that, and they attended all my programs, they realized that, oh, I at least have at least intermediate knowledge about it, right? And you can do that easily with compounding learning. It's very easy to do that. Just like how your investment compound over years, your skills can compound over years. You just have to get 1% better every week. That's a very simple secret to that, right? And once you do that, you'll realize that, oh, once you know one technology, let's say once you know about MLOps, you also know about LLMOps, a lot of the foundations of that, and you can apply that or once you know about AWS SageMaker in MLOps, you can also use Azure ML equally confidently, because it's just an alternative technology there, right? So it's basically that. And it's also about building your own luck. And how do you do that is, again, by getting noticed, meeting people, attending events. And it's not just a framework or theory that we are putting here. We're actually converting that into a gamified system, right? And that's what this mini degree is all about. And this has many components, which I'm going to unveil a little bit later. But we'll have the roadmaps, courses, coaching, challenges, community, certification. And we are adding a lot of gamification, where we'll be tracking all your progress, including let's say you attend an event, publish that, and so on, we'll also be starting to give you some rewards, badges, and something which you can track, right? And then there'll be multiple mini degrees we are bringing in. There'll be like entry level or foundational things, and the practitioner level is where we are introducing AI Trinity, where we are starting with MLOps, but there are many things that we are bringing, including AIOps, Agentic DevOps, maybe Bionic DevOps. There'll be, of course, it's not just about AI. It's also about the basics. So right from basics for a fresher to start with DevOps to go to specialization like GitOps, DevSecOps. We are building all those journeys step by step. These are already there, so I just have to roll out in phases. And these are the new content that I'm going to work on related to AIOps and Agentic DevOps, right? Now, what are the things that you would be building as part of Minidegree? I think that's probably what most of you would be interested to know about, right? And let's have a look at the projects that you would be building as part of, let's say, MLOps. And I'll also give you a gist of AIOps and a little bit of Agentic, the work that I'm doing related to Agentic with MCP. And I'll show you some work or some interesting stuff related to that as well. So this is gonna be your MLOps journey. So if you join the MLOps Minidegree, so one of the questions that I got was, hey, what is the difference between your Udemy course versus this? You can join the Udemy course, and if you are self-driven, self-motivated, definitely go for it. It's much cheaper, and if you can do self-learning, I would rather have you, not even worry about this and just do it from Udemy, right? There are multiple courses that we have, and you can go through those. But if you are looking for a structured journey like this, which you can complete, and it's not just completing, you can see that it's interactive. So when you complete the lesson, for example, I complete this lesson, I get actually, so you can see that these are the lessons that I've completed. And when I complete those lessons, they get marked here and it gets added to my progress. So it's not just about a very static roadmap. People give you the static roadmaps, yes, but this is more of an interactive roadmap, and you complete this, you complete the quiz, you complete that mission. So we are making it a mission based, and every mission will have the projects, will have a quiz. Most of the missions will have projects. Some are conceptual, but most will have projects. And there will be additional projects that we are trying to incorporate into this program as well. So this is gonna be a very interactive mini degree that you can do on your own, as well as we will have some challenges that we would run, like that you can have a start and end date so that you can finish it with some co-working hours that we are planning where you can come and build. And you'll keep on getting points, and you can accumulate the points. We'll have levels. We're going to gamify this completely. I'm just building this is a very simple iteration, the first iteration of our dashboard. We are focusing on deep dive, right? So the depth of knowledge and the deep dive, where we are actually building these levels where you'll be diving. You'll start as a surface wader, you'll then be a snorkeler, then you will do a deep diver, technical diver. So we're coming up with these levels, and you'll earn the points. So these points is a cash scorecard, just like how this is typically we have kind of inspired by IIMs, the premier MBA institute in India, who tracks it as a cash scorecard, which is a knowledge, attitude, uh, skills, and habits. So habits is where we want to inculcate those habits of keeping up with one project every week, attending the events, helping others, and those kind of things. And then we'll have knowledges attached to your courses, lessons, quizzes. Projects will add to your skills XPs. So we're building that system with gamified learning, basically, where there'll be levels, there'll be progress maps, there will be, you can see the missions here. So as you complete the missions for MLOps, you're gonna basically see those unveil and get unlocked. And basically, it becomes like a game, level 1, level 2, level 3. You can keep on completing, and you'll get badges, certifications based on that. That's why the mini degree. So it's not to compete with others. It's more about making sure that to give you something to keep yourself motivated, and make sure that you complete things, and through that ultimately you build the real world skills, so to ultimately you benefit out of that. Now, what are the projects that we are building here? Let's take MLOps. And MLOps is multiple missions. We're going to start with, in fact, this starts with a explorer mini degree, which is more of a conceptual. You'll have 3 missions where you'll build foundation on AI ML, LLM, Gen AI, and Agentic AI. Once you have that conceptual foundation, I think that's very important to get started with. Then you start building the missions where you are going to get started with MLOps. What is MLOps? Different aspects of it. We'll also build the use case. Start with the use case that I'm going to walk you through. Then you understand how the data science and ML side of things works, right? And one of the important aspects is this is the part where you should be spending a lot of time to understand and to get clarity on. Because beyond that, it's all DevOps to a new domain that is MLOps, right? I'll show you how that would work, right? So, and then you understand the core ML algorithms, because once you understand this, you will be sorted with your AI ML journey till here, if you understand clearly, right? Because after that, it's about Docker Compose, GitHub Actions. Here we have Kubernetes, then we have scaling, then we have again auto scaling, monitoring, Prometheus, and stuff. We'll go back to one more mission where we will be adding ML related, machine learning related monitoring, like drift monitoring, drift detection, and all of that, right? But that's gonna be your journey for the MLOps mini degree. I will show you the project basically that you would be building. By the way, this prototype I've built with Lovable. This is not the actual project, but you can do rapid prototype. This is what I was talking about when I say Bionic engineer, Bionic DevOps, whatever it is, right? So you should be able to understand these tools now. For example, I could build this interface in few minutes with a few prompts using a tool called as Lovable, which you can see on the bottom right. This is not the actual application though. That took me much longer. But when you have a prototype to see how it looks like, it is much easier to build it later, right? That's when you plug it in. All right. All right. So, Sri Krishna, I'll be taking questions a little later because I don't want to get interrupted right now. So, put all your questions in the chat. Keep adding the questions to the chat, no problems. You can ask it with voice later as well, no problems with that either. But let's go get through the presentation here so that we have a focus time on questions. So, this is going to be the ML project basically, right? So, what is a machine learning, right? Machine learning takes your data and predicts it studies this data that is available, that is called as a seen data. So whatever it sees and understands, like, oh, if the in this case it's very easy to understand, that's why I've taken a so if you look at the MLOps course that we have, it has been simplified for the DevOps engineers to get started with. It's not a data sciencey thing, because the one of the key differences between the content that you will see here and the content that you see everywhere else is most of that is created by data scientists, right? And they talk about data science in a different perspective, and that you may or may not be able to relate. This I'm sure you will be able to relate very easily, right? Because this is a very simple use case where we just look at house price prediction, right? You look at the size of the house, you look at the number of bedrooms and the bathrooms and which area it is, how, when was it built, the year it was built, and then you predict the price. Again, this is a mock data, but I'm just giving an example here, right? Because this is a prototype, right? I'll show you the actual application a little later. So, but that's how this works. So this is basically a scene data that it has learned from. And when you ask it a question which it has not seen, but it knows the pattern that, oh, this is the size of the house, this is the number of bedroom, bathrooms. It knows what, or it is estimating, it is predicting. It's not 100% accurate, right? And it doesn't have to be. That's the best part about MLs, right? With ML, it's just predictions. You don't have to be accurate. Nobody's going to ask you that, why are you not predicting exact amount, right? Because it's a machine learning model. It has accuracy score of something. That is what you need to understand. So once you understand this part, right? So if I want to visualize this, this is your journey with MLOps. To you, it looks like this, a mountain that you can't climb possibly, right? But in reality, it is basically there is a mountain, and after that, there is kind of a smooth sail, right? So there is a small hill that you definitely have to climb, and that hill is the domain knowledge of, or the specific knowledge about ML, the machine learning, basically, right? And once you climb that hill, and that's when I realized my personal aha moment was that. So till the time, if you can ask Jagdish, who's here, um, I asked him so many questions. So till here, till the point I got to the ML and building a project from data to model, I had too many questions for him. After that, it was a smooth sailing. I could figure out everything from me because after this, from raw data till you have the model trained, you need to understand things properly. This is new stuff for us, and but that's the only new stuff really. In case of typical MLOps I'm talking about. LLMs might have bit of another, maybe another hill there, but that's it. But you can, after that, it's about Docker, Compose, CI, CD, GitOps, right? That you already know, monitoring, right? So that's the hill you need to climb, and that's what we want to make sure that you climb comfortably as well. And that's why the structured journey. And again, after that also we have a structured journey, but definitely till then, I will show you what I mean by that, right? So this is the project, and I'm gonna clone this project. This is actually, I have a lot of data which is processed already, but I'll show you, walk you through that journey for the next 10, 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. So I'll clone this. And this is typically how you start with a ML project, right? You have local development. You can have VS Code. I'm going to use VS Code here. Open it here in VS Code. And let's go to that project. Okay. And this is the structure of it, right? I like command line still, so I would go here and show you the tree. And this is typically a project where you have the data. You start with the raw data, and then you process it, clean it, add feature, what we call as a feature engineering. Then you have the model which you train. You don't see the models yet, and you have the notebooks. So notebooks are the Jupyter Hub notebooks. The data science work and machine learning work happens there a lot. Mainly the data scientists use that. And then you build a model, then you kind of train it, and then you convert it into productionized code and so on. That comes in the SRC, APIs, and stuff like that, right? So I'll just show you the data science stuff, how it starts. Typically, a ML project starts like this, where you have most of that is Python. That's why a bit of Python building and package management is important. So I use a tool called as UV, and I say UVVenv uh, with a particular Python version 3.11, and it creates a virtual environment so that whatever I'm installing, it remains specific to this directory, so I can control whatever versions I want. And that's very, very important. And once I'm in that virtual environment, I can just say UV pip install. This already most of you should know, being DevOps engineers, that we install Python dependencies. And UV is super fast, as you can see. It's very fast to install everything. So this is a newer tool. It uses a language called as a rough. It's written in language called as a rough. And that environment is set up so I can basically take this raw. If you look at the raw data, this is a very simple data to understand. So you just have price. That's what we want to predict. This is also called as a target variable or output variable. It has different names there. And these are the features. Features are nothing but, oh, what are you predicting based on? Right? So you're predicting based on these parameters, square footage, location, bathrooms, and whatnot, right? And that data you clean, convert, you can analyze. That's what happens in a notebook like this. A notebook like this, you have to select a kernel, which is an environment. I'm selecting the virtual environment to run it, and then I start importing. I'll just run everything here. So good thing about notebooks is you can write a SQL code and a Python code and a R code and a shell script and a markdown language in one thing. It's like a notebook where you have different topics, and you write you can divide it into different sections, and you write one topic here, another topic here. In fact, I have a section wise notebook here. So you can see the sections wise notebook, right? That's what a notebook is. You can write different code, and good thing is you can execute it from here. It's not just about writing code, unlike your editor, and you require a different terminal. So it executes here, which you can see, libraries imported, and then keep on executing one at a time. And you can see the data. This is the data engineering. So we start with a bit of a data engineering. All of this is covered as part of course and mini degree. This is data engineering, where you can see the shape of the data. Shape of the data is nothing but how many rows, how many columns, stuff like that. And I'll just run everything. We don't have a lot of time right now. So I'll run everything and show you some components of it, right? So this is where you see the distribution of data. So when we monitor data drift, this is what you should know. It's not mandatory for a pure MLOps person, right? So there are two different aspects. One is you have full data scientist, end-to-end data scientist, or a specific MLOps person in a mixed kind of teams. And there you just need to know about the like what is the distribution of data, because when you monitor for data drift, these are the things you should understand. This is the specific ML knowledge you should at least start understanding. And once you go through it, and we have simplified it to the level that we add comments, you understand what it is. That's what is explained in our video lessons as well. And then we come with exploratory data analysis. Again, this is a data science job. So once you understand these notebooks, right? So we have that journey from raw data to cleaned featured data, and then we train it. That is the time when there'll be an aha moment that, oh, now that I understand it, it is just matter of taking this and packaging it. And that is when the real DevOps kind of work starts in MLOps world, right? And again, you see the exploratory analysis here. You can look at the row, you can look at the, let's say, the distribution of, again, that same plot here. And then the feature correlation is price is the output, and how it is correlated to square feet or number of bedrooms. So if there is a high correlation, that means if the price changes or square feet changes, the price will increase as well. That's what we're looking at here. So you see the price is changing based on the square footage. Square feet as this increase, the prices also increase. So that's like that's we're just plotting it, right? So once you go through this code and the notebooks, it's not that you have to write the notebooks unless you become a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, but you should understand this. You should understand what is in there. You should understand what this means. You should understand the evaluation. You should understand the feature engineering, because feature engineering is nothing but what is the feature? Feature is this, the input. The price is going to vary based on number of bedroom. That is one feature. This is another feature. This is the feature which is already there. You can also engineer a feature, as in you can create new things. So you have a natural wood and you engineer a wood. Engineer is artificial thing, or you create out of a natural wood or something like this. So you can take a feature and say, oh, it was built in 2014, so I can calculate the age of the house by saying, let's say house age is equal to uh, current year minus the year of construction, right? That is like an engineered feature. So you can see that house age is equal to today's date minus the year built. That's called as the feature engineering, right? So you create features which have a high correlation with the output, and that is the process of feature engineering. So we again go in depth into this when we go into the MLOps course. And then we have the experimentation, where we actually decide which models to use. Model is nothing but an algorithm which has seen some data and learned from it, right? So people call algorithms as model. To me, model is more like a algorithm which has trained on your specific data set, and that's what makes it a model. And that model is like a binary file. You will see that. So you don't see you see data which has been featured and all that. But if you look at the model, there is nothing in here so far. I'll show you by training a model. So I'm importing the libraries, adding a environment here. So here I need ML flow. So I can launch it. ML flow is a very useful tool for experiment tracking. What I mean by that, I'll show you very quickly. Again, when you launch it, it's Docker Compose, right? So that's why I say a lot of DevOps containers, CI/CD is very important in ML, and that's what we are looking at here. So this ML flow has come up. This is where you track experiments. Experiment is like, okay, I have multiple candidates. What are those candidates? Again, this is what we have as part of our course and the program, where we talk about, okay, these are the models or the algorithms rather, and linear regression, logistic, decision tree, random forest. Again, I'm explaining this as I understand it as a DevOps engineer, so it is not a data sciencey thing. So if you are expecting it to be too in-depth ML and data science work, this is not it. But if you are a DevOps engineer, you will understand it very quickly, because I'm talking to you from how I understand it as a DevOps professional only, right? And that's what we are doing here. So basically, what we are doing here with model experimentation is we are trying to find out which algorithm would work best to give us the best results. How do we know is where the evaluation comes in. So that's when we have loaded the data set, and that's when we kind of do some feature reduction, like which features are important, which features are not. So there is something called as a RFE. It iteratively reduces the number of features and ignores things which don't matter. And then ML flow setup. This is where the algorithms we're talking about are like linear regression, logistic regression. We come up with some candidate based on their nature. And this is what it is: linear regression, random forest, gradient boosting, XGBoost. These are our candidates. We load them here with their specific properties. Those are called like configuration. Those are called as hyperparameters. Hyperparameter is nothing but that. You have chef, and chef has some configuration. Ansible has some configuration file and inventory and the way it behaves. That is a kind of the hyperparameter here. And then we go ahead and start evaluating. I think here, this is where it actually runs and tells us like, oh, I'm training with this and this and this, and then these are the results I'm getting. So you split that data. So 20% you keep to ask like a quiz, to ask question, 80% you show it to model, 20% you don't show from like those 84 rows. And based on that, we ask questions like, oh, tell me the prediction for this and this and this for the 20%. And based on that, we are coming up with the square evaluation here. This is what goes into ML flow really. So ML flow, if you look at it, is just that we have the experiment run, and that shows us the results. And you can compare the different models, XGBoost, gradient boosting, and their comparison of like, I'll show you one. And these are the results, like how accurate has it been. And you can then compare it from here, but you can also write the code to compare it as well, right? So you can do a comparison from here as well, right? And how it performs and all that. But you can plot it, which is better here because you can see exactly their performance. And you have different R square is how accurately it is able to explain the question. It's like you're asking quiz, and how comfortably it is able to explain. That's what it is. RMSE is again the error. You have to minimize the error, explain it, liability should be high, errors should be minimal. So whoever is performing better there, like gradient boosting in this case, or random forest in this case. So it's going to pick one of this basically based on this. And based on that, it will say that, oh, this model, gradient boosting, is performed best, where it could explain everything 99% of the time. The error is of 15,000, but we're talking about prices in millions. So 15,000 is not too much. This is the minimal, right? So whoever is giving you the least error and better to explain, we are picking that up, right? This is part of data science thing. And once you go from, and this is the time when you probably will see a model. I'm not sure we are training it here. No, we are not actually generating the files, but we're just generating the config. And then the data science gives it to MLE, and they write the script. That's when we are productionizing things coming, because these are just notebooks, and you convert it into the code which is robust. And that's where you start packaging that with containers. So this is the model that you take, package it into containers, run it with fast API, and then you have an application running on top of that. So that's typically the ML workflow, and that's what you will be building as part of this MLOps project actually. Beyond this, it is very simple because it's about containerizing. I'll show you the code. Containerizing is, let's say, Streamlit or Docker Compose. This should seem very familiar to you, right? In fact, I'll tell you an experience from my recent corporate training where these were the ML engineers and AI engineers. They've been building models. They're working with LLMs, again, fast API applications. They don't know how to containerize things. They didn't know how to run it in Kubernetes. They didn't know how to scale. And that's what I taught them in the 3-day program. There was another batch where I taught just Git to data scientists, and they were very happy. I just integrated it with Databricks. So that's what is missing piece right now. And that's where you, I see, as a DevOps professional, can come in and add a lot of value. Right now, it is very unstructured. People are asking for Moon, but eventually they'll realize that DevOps people can help and come and help here. And that's when your real potential will kind of come in. And because if you look at it, it's just containerizing here with Docker Compose. You have Dockerfile for the fast API, which is a Python application, something you should be familiar with if you're a DevOps engineer. You have GitHub Actions pipeline. And good thing is, people also talk about a lot of complex technologies, right? Because if you hear about MLOps, there is Kubeflow, Airflow, this flow, that flow. It's not needed unless you have a complex workflow. It's just a CI pipeline that you're building. You can use Argo workflow, you can use Kubeflow and all that, but you can also use GitHub Actions for that. That's what I'm teaching you here, because you don't have to get into complexity, at least at the initial stages. Once you understand this, you'll know that what to do, and you'll be able to comfortably build everything else. Because if you look at it, data processing is just a set of scripts we are running, model training. We teach how this is built in the program. How do you build and publish? This is the container image, and this is like a typical CI pipeline. In fact, I'll show you an execution of that. This is where it has executed. So this is just a simple CI pipeline for a DevOps engineer. Simple as that. Data processing, model training, build and publish. End of it, you'll have an image published somewhere here. I probably have run it last month or a few weeks ago. So you will see the image nevertheless, but published maybe a few weeks ago, right? So this is the pipeline that once it executes, the house price model gets published, right? 19 days ago. That was my last workshop on MLOps. And you can see that we are publishing it with some tag and stuff like that. So that's what it is about. And then you take this, convert it into, again, with Kubernetes, there are many platforms, Knative, Kserve, Kubre, and all that. But in my experience, if you have a simple model with fast API, you can just run it as a deployment service and scale it with Kada, Carpenter, whatever. That's what we are going to do as part of our initial MLOps bootcamp, right? But that's about MLOps. We're talking about Trinity. This is what we are launching today, but also we will be building on AIOps and Agentic DevOps. So I will also show you a very quick gist of it. I built a project for AIOps. This is for Linux Foundation. This has been published officially as a Linux Foundation micro course, and you can take it from there as well. And I'll basically show you what this course is, right? Or what I have built. This is a project that we will bring in, a more elaborate project actually. I'm sharing this as a video because I have created a demo, and it's a very well created demo. I'm just gonna play that here. All right. In case if you're not able to hear my video audio from the video, and if you're not able to see it, give me a feedback on the chat. Here it goes. In this micro project, I'm going to demonstrate how you could build a simple RCA agent, that is a root cause analysis agent, which connects locally running LLM to your Kubernetes cluster and open source monitoring tools such as Prometheus and Loki to diagnose the pod issues by analyzing metrics and logs. Let's get rolling. The core of this project is this RCA agent, which is written in simple Python, while you could also use more sophisticated frameworks like Crew AI or LangGraph. This is how you will invoke the agent. You will call the code file along with Python and provide the name of the pod you want to diagnose for, along with the look back period for which you want to collect the metrics and logs. Once received all this information, the agent will connect to the Prometheus and Grafana to get the metrics, collect those metrics, then go to the Grafana Loki system to collect the logs, get all these logs and send all of this information to locally running LLM for analysis, which will eventually generate and send the report to the user. Let's see this in action. Let me show you what all I have running locally. I have a locally running LLM with Olama, and I have a bunch of models out here, out of which I will be using this Mistral as the model for my locally analysis of the RCA. Then I have a Kubernetes environment with 3-node cluster, which you can also see it visually from here. On top of that, for the same Kubernetes environment, I have the monitoring setup with Grafana and Prometheus. So you see the Prometheus metrics being displayed here. I also have a log management or log monitoring system called as Loki, which is again connected to Grafana and which you can see all the connections for, and I can drill down the metrics and the logs from here. These are all the logs collected from Loki. So this covers these systems that I'm going to need to set up the diagnosis for: Kubernetes, Prometheus, and Loki. Now let's look at the code here. The main file here is the Agentic RCA. This is simple Python code with a few libraries installed along with 3 modules: one to connect to local LLM, one to connect to Loki, one to connect to Prometheus. And this is where the core logic is. So this is where it accepts the argument in the form of a pod name, the lookback period, let's say 10 minutes, and then it would fetch the metrics from Prometheus, fetch the logs from Loki, and send it to analysis to LLM. All of this code is written here. This one connects to Prometheus to get the metrics. This connects to Loki to get the logs for the lookback period, and then it all sends to the locally running LLM interface via Olama model, that is Mistral. And then we also define the context and what it is supposed to do, which sets up the right report and the role for this particular agent. And then I have also provided the links to my locally installed Prometheus Loki and the model that I want to use here. Let me show you by running this. It's the same repository where I have set up this code. I've also set up a Python virtual environment here along with all the prerequisite packages installed already. This is how I would execute it. So Python Agentic RCA, this is the name of the pod. Let me show you the pod names here. So I have these pods running locally on my Kubernetes environment, and this one is crashing, a pod with name DB. Let's see if it can analyze correctly or not. So when I execute this, it collects the metrics from Prometheus, logs from Loki, and sends it to LLM for the analysis. Everything is happening via our RCA agent code here. That's the Python code. So it doesn't require any MCP service or it doesn't require any function calling. We are codifying everything into our local Python code. And here you see the analysis. Based on this, it tells me that there seems to be a problem with my database where it requires me to set up some environment variable, right? It looks at the metrics, looks at the logs, and finds out the possible root cause from here, which is quite accurate because if I look at the logs for the DB locally, I know that this is exactly the problem where it is missing an environment variable. So all of this is absolutely perfect. And we have a simple agentic AIOps setup here with everything running locally, everything with the open source tools, and you can get started with this very quickly. I'll just All right, so probably this is the only product that you will see where you have open source everything and locally running, because it's very easy to use OpenAI APIs and work with that. It is much harder to make it work with a local LLM. That's one, but I wanted to make sure that is what we do because I wanted to have complete control over the environment. Secondly, we want to set up everything locally so that you don't have to spend on the API costs, like especially when you're learning, you definitely don't want that. Also, when you are building this for your companies don't want to expose your data to the outside world, right? So that is the effort, and that is where it becomes much harder to make it work on locally running LLMs and make it work with open source projects, because you have vendors who are invested millions of dollars to make this work with their products, but who is actually doing it for the open source is what I'm trying to bring in the content from that effort. So my efforts are going to be focused on using open source technologies and using the things that would matter in the real world, including like locally running LLMs and so on, right? And that is the reason also my agentic work is taking a lot of time, because making it work on locally running LLMs is been the challenge for me right now. It does work with OpenAI, but local LLM is where it kind of gets much more difficult, right? But that's what I'm trying to crack right now. The third and the final demo that I will show you is from the agentic. Again, this is kind of an agent, the one I showed you, but the one I have completely written. But you can also use MCP, which is quite popular these days. MCP is a way to connect your LLM to anything in the world, really, right? So MCP is like you have a local LLM and you connect it with the agent, local or any LLM, connect it with the real world through some like USB ports, right? So you have a USB-C and you can connect any device. Similar to that, you can connect anything in the world to your LLM using MCP as a protocol. That's why MCP has become so popular. And I will show you how you can get started with MCP very quickly, very easily using simply a Docker desktop. Docker desktop comes with MCP support now. It's called as MCP tool kit that Docker comes with. If you install latest version of Docker, you already have a local chat GPT kind of for you, right? That's one. Secondly, you have the MCP toolbox running as well. I'm just trying to see where that, this is the Docker desktop, right? So you can see the MCP toolkit. Once you install it, you get access to many MCP servers. I have installed file system and GitHub official. And what it gives you is all these tools become immediately available to your LLM. Like LLM can read write to your file system. With this MCP server, LLM can a Gen AI or a model can connect to your GitHub action or GitHub and do anything and everything. Literally, you can create repositories. You can, one of my course, which is going to be part of this, actually does that. So if you look at mastering AI ML with Docker, this is where we have basically I'm actually creating a repository here. I'm adding generating code using Gen AI, start revision controlling it using local commands, and then connect to GitHub, create a repository, commit to that repository, all with LLM. No manual intervention. You can do that even today. That's what MCP does for you, right? And let's say get pull request, pull anything. Basically, you can connect to anything and you can see immediately. Docker also comes with a chat interface, AI interface. And this is a free model. You don't have to pay for any. I mean, of course, if you're using personal version, it's free. Companies, you have to have some licensing, but otherwise, if you have a personal version, you can just use Gordon and connect to all these tools. You can see it has MCP catalog, 62 tools available, including my Git actions and Git, workflow and whatnot, right? And I can start interacting with it right away. It runs the containers in background. So again, that's why it is important to have that foundational knowledge on DevOps, containers, especially containers, Kubernetes, GitHub actions, and so on to actually work with even MCPs. That's why I've created that course, which is also targeted to like anyone with ML and data science background. And let's have a look at what it can do. Let's take this same repository and let's see if it can read my last commit. So 18 commits. I'll ask it to get me the last commit and how many commits do I have in here, right? So let's ask Gordon to do that. Like we're asking LLM. And you can see Gordon is working on it. It has access to 70 tools, so it decides which tool to use. Search repositories in this case, it's calling this tool. It actually gives you very good logs actually. This is a very useful utility. It gives you logs. It shows you the list of commits. It is hallucinating right now because it's going to a different repository. I'm not sure why it goes to this particular repo, but it does. This is where the limitation of LLM also is. That's why we are kind of refining this and so on, right? So I think maybe there's a fork of it or another repository it is looking at. I'm going to ask it again. I'll remove GitHub and let's say browse into this repo on GitHub owned by this user and give me the last two commits. Let's see if it does the job or not this time. So it's doing fetch. You can see the output of what, oh, now it's trying to use this, at least the right repository. And oh, now it's not available. So looks like too many people using it. I ask again, it's trying to use list commit, which is a good thing. Yeah, so you can see it's owned by whom and what is the last commit. You can see my name here, and this is the last commit. You can see that already. This is my last commit. You can also have it add things to it. Exact count it doesn't know. So it's being honest there. That's good. We can ask it to maybe create an issue. Let's see if it can do it or not. Right, I'm just in, by the way, I have already configured the token, and initially I had configured only read-only token, so you can control the security by just using read-only token or creating a very fine-grained token, and then I have given a write access to this repo, right? And it does not do it. That's another thing. It sometimes does, it sometimes doesn't. So that's where you will see things changing. This is where also the model that is being used makes a difference. This is also where your capabilities with MCP can come into play. So this is a thing which is evolving right now. And this is where I'm experimenting. My biggest challenge has been to make it work with local LLMs. And that's where I'm kind of bringing and iterating over it. But in a month's time, it'll definitely be somewhere I feel that I will be in a place where I have a much better understanding and a setup with local LLMs, agents. And that's when I would bring in technologies like, there is, of course, LangGraph and Crew AI and BAI. One thing that worked for me has been BAI by IBM. This is the BAI framework by IBM. Uh, and that's one thing which works with MCP and agentic things. Second that I want to work on is N10. A lot of you might have used it or have heard of it. It's a good platform to build agents visually, and you can connect to different platforms, different tools using MCP, using other tools, and you can build your agents as well. So that's kind of the direction in which we are going. Right now, we are launching the MLOps Minidegree though. So we are almost out of time. So I'm just gonna make an announcement that this is what we are launching. And you can already see uh, or find out all the info. I'll start taking questions, but you will see what you're getting with Minidegree is a structured roadmap, interactive roadmap. You will progress with the missions. You just have to complete the missions, and we will be running some challenges where we'll have some co-working hours every Sunday. Somebody will from our team will be there to help you with things. It will not be a teaching session because everything I've just shown you a demonstrated video. I think that is a much more crisper and the same content which is being covered. So we're not repeating that content again. So it will not be a teaching session, but you learn or you learn there and you kind of start building stuff and you can build with others and there will be someone in case. I think that is more impactful from my experiments so far, and that is the approach we're going to take. So if you're expecting this to be a instructor led training, this is definitely not. This is only for the people who can put in that effort, are committed to put in that effort, and then we will be there to support if you are putting the efforts basically, right? So that is what this will be, and we'll actually gamify everything so that you can keep track of everything. You are motivated to complete the missions. Every time you complete a mission, you see your progress, you get upgraded to the next level. So it's like a game. You complete level 1, level 2, level 3, and you see the your scorecard. You see the progress, and this is a work in progress, as you can see. And there are 10 more mini degrees on DevSecOps, DevOps, GitOps, CloudOps, containers, which are going to be released. And we're starting with MLOps, which is the first 10 missions. If you get enrolled right now, it will keep you occupied for the next 2 months easily, right? So that's how much content we already have. I already have 3 courses. So one of the questions from Sri Krishna was, are we building more content? Yes, we are building a lot more content. One is the existing MLOps course is going to get upgraded. I'm adding auto scaling with CADA and Prometheus and so on. We are adding drift detection with Evidently AI and retraining of pipeline based on that. We will then start adding LLM ops course. That will be a new course. I have another course, 2 more course, one on the foundations of AI, ML and Agentic. The third is the Docker with AI, ML with 5 different projects. We have a MCP project that I just demonstrated here. There is Model Runner, new tool from Docker. So this is all cutting edge technology. Then we have Docker Compose, Docker Files, Docker for ML projects basically. And how do we get started with ML project and Docker? So that's another course which is already there. There'll be many more courses being added, and that's why we are making it more like a plan or a subscription and not just one mini degree or one course, right? Because once you enroll, it's unlimited access for your period, unlimited courses and mini degrees, I mean, that you get access to basically, right? And that is what we have introduced already. And in terms of the offer that I want to make for today, as I said, is this is going to be a launch price. Again, this launch price is because we are still building more mini degrees, bringing those up. And once that are there will be individual mini degree for about like $99 or maybe, around 8,000 rupees Indian. And then there will be a bundle which will be accordingly priced, right? So this is a launch price because we are getting started, we are still building it. And we are definitely offering that webinar offer, the launch webinar offer, where you can get it at a 15% discount on the ticket price right now. So you'll get it at, and we are doing it PPP based. I'm very transparent about it. So I got some questions about this. So why we have different prices for India and for US is because I have been paying for softwares in USD when I'm earning INR. Nobody's offering me PPP based of pricing. So we are trying to bring that in so that it is fair for the people everywhere. And if you are not from a developed country, you can just contact us. We can offer a proportionate pricing for you, right? So that's our webinar offer right now. However, for the action takers and the builders in you, that's what we want to promote and motivate basically. We are offering a special offer here, which is a 20% off, and that action bonus is only for the action takers for the first 15 ones, right? And that offer will expire whenever that 15 coupons get expired basically, right? And I will be sharing this offer. So if you want to really take that leap of faith and get started with this journey with me, you will get that action offer for the first 15 members. It will be valid. I'll be sharing these coupon codes with you along with the link that you can enroll using. So the webinar offer will also be emailed to you. It will also be available along with the recordings, and that is valid till 7th of June, the webinar offer, that is the launch offer. And then if you want to take the action bonus for the first 15, it is available, and that is the second coupon. The webinar offer is the first coupon in the chat. The second coupon is the action bonus, right? And that's about what I wanted to cover and the offer that I wanted to extend to you. So if you want to get started with your journey towards more of a AI platform engineer, because I call it as AI platform engineer because it is more than MLOps, and we will be adding more mini degree towards that, along with of course AIOps and either Bionic DevOps or Agentic DevOps, one of that, right? And we're open for questions. So if you have questions, please add them in the chat, or please unmute and speak. We'll take the first question from Himanshu because you have the raised hand. Himanshu, go ahead, please.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Firstly,
Thank you.
I've been following you over the LinkedIn platform for several months.
Thank you.
So my doubt here is basically I am working in like I have a kind of interest in the AI MLOps because it is the future. Uh, I would take a little like 2-3 minutes here
Sure, go ahead.
because
If you
yeah,
want to turn on your camera, that would be awesome as well. If you can, that
actually
is.
yeah, but I'm not in my room. Actually, I'm
No problem.
outside, so I would
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So here, what happens if we are ahead of time? Then, like we will be in a good position. Let's say we would be ahead of the competition. We will be having less competition, or let's say we are ahead. For example, let's say 10 years ago, Kubernetes was just in the came to the market. So now, who has started back then is now at this moment of time they are way ahead
Correct.
like us. So I am like why I'm shouting out for your course because you are the torch bearer in this MLOps and AIOps like domain. What I see in the LinkedIn and on the uh, X platform also. So I am a my doubt here is that I am working as a database engineer.
Sure.
My duties are I'm working in a database, particularly on MariaDB MySQL, uh, handling the databases, basically database administrator. As
Sure.
of now, I'm a junior database administrator.
Hmm.
And in the past, I have worked in some different tools and technologies. Like let's say for 1 or 2 months in Kubernetes, for 1 or 2 months in Docker, and for 1 2 months in Keycloak OR2. So
Right.
now I'm dive I because AI and all these things are making things very easy. Like surface level knowledge, you can very easily extract
Absolutely.
through the AI.
Hmm.
So what I really want to know from you is that I am now going into a domain of database. So I do not have any plan to do this particular course AI ops ML ops because I want to go to database.
Correct.
The intricacy of the databases because there are so many things which are going under the hood. We just run a command, but in behind there are so many things to
Correct.
learn and to like which makes me curious. But because of like the same courses are not there in the database domains, I
Hmm.
must say that I have searched enough out there. So
Hmm.
my doubt or my I want to seek some of the guidance from you.
Hmm.
What should I do? Because earlier 2 years before, I do not know databases. I do not have interest in databases. I have started working on databases. I have that curious mind. I got the interest in databases as well.
Right.
So why like how like I'm your little brother. Please guide me how to do like how to go about this AI or ML ops era.
AI journey for a database administrator is your question, right?
Yeah, that is the question. If not the database administrator, then a guy who want to excel in the future and want to be ahead of the Russ or
Absolutely. One thing is, Himanshu, thanks a lot for appreciating the content. Second is, you're absolutely right when you say this is the time, and that's why I've been talking about this a lot, AI ops, ML ops in general, because this is the best time to get into it as a DevOps engineer. Because right now it is very confusing, yes, but when things open up, you will be the first one to get those opportunities, and you will leverage those, and that's what kind of that's how I kind of got into corporate training because there was no one else really at 10 years ago who knew Chef and Puppet and so on. And then came Kubernetes and started with that. Now coming back to your question about database engineer and how what would make sense to you is in fact see the best part about all of this is when we talk about machine learning and AI, a lot of things start with data, right? And the data is humongous, enormous, and it is not just about the structured database, the relational database that you're talking about with tabular data, with Maria and Postgres and all of this, but there's also unstructured data, a lot of unstructured data, a lot of structured data, and now there are a lot of technologies evolving in that field where you are talking about how do we manage this data with data lakes and Apache Iceberg and those kind of things, right? And then we have also not just this data which is already there, we also have a streaming data, and there are tools for that as well. So if you are really interested into databases and if you want to get started with stay in that field and progress and get started with AI and ML, of course you should get started with the foundations of AI ML, and you have a lot of also for that, you don't have to attend this particular program. You have a lot of free content available there. I think I shared one Microsoft content last week as well. So you can get started with that. And what I believe you should focus on is data engineering, because one is there are a lot of there's a lot of opportunities there in the data engineering. Secondly, a lot of people in DevOps field, there is a new concept that I came across recently when I was talking to people from Flipkart also, is DBRE, right? So they have someone called as database reliability engineers. So you can get into database reliability engineering, you can then progress to data engineering, and data engineering is a very valued position right now, where you'll find a lot less people even in comparison with how many people are there in DevOps. So my suggestion, honestly, if you want to stay in database and leverage that knowledge and progress into AI, is start looking at something called as data engineering.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaurav. I would not take much of your time. Just one request from my side, because I have gone through many of the YouTube videos and LinkedIn platform, various content creators. I do not get a good solid uh, guidance. Like, it is very here and there, like flub kind of guidance, which do not make me reach somewhere,
Uh-huh.
right? A tangible progress, basically. So if you have anyone in your circle, or anyone around LinkedIn which you know, or which you want to refer to follow that guy, you please help me with that, if you could. Thank you so much.
Sure. No problem. So in terms of data engineering, I'll find out, and I think Jagdish might know many more people than I do, because he's the one who tells me to who to follow, and in terms of MLOps as well. So I'll check in with him, and I'll ask him to share some resources, either through me or directly as well, right? So, but we'll get, I mean, just stay connected on LinkedIn. We'll probably just post something there.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Absolutely. All right. So we'll take the next question from Hari. We'll go one by one, folks. So next is Hari, then Rehan, and then Kumar.
Uh,
Hari.
hey, hey, Gaurav. Uh, see, I've been, I've told you in the messages as well. I've been following you to right from my DevOps journey. That's like
Fantastic.
COVID time and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of your School of DevOps courses, Linux Foundation courses. I think you are one of the mentor or course creator that I enjoyed watching the training videos on Kubernetes and Docker, where I come with a background of 10 plus years of full stack Java development and blah blah and all that.
Mhm.
But yeah, your courses are next level, man. So um, since I'm now 5 plus years of experience into cloud and DevOps, along with my full stack development experience in Java.
Mhm.
So so now the buzzwords. So what I expect from this course is, yeah, I like. So the questions that are now common in the industry are, how do we actually deploy a model? How do we actually deploy an LLM?
Hmm.
How do we fine tune an LLM?
Hmm.
Okay, how do we interact with an LLM, like the recent one like MCP and all that stuff?
Right.
So, am I talking relevant stuff, or mm,
No, no, it is, all of this is relevant.
yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
So this
So
is my expectation, Gaurav.
I
So
understand.
from the so yeah,
Perfect. So
and
I understand your expectations, and thank you again for appreciating the work
yeah,
and following me,
always.
being with our journey. And about the answer to that,
Mm-hmm.
the model deployment is something that we already have in MLOps, like a basic model deployment. We call it as inference actually. So that we already have as part of how do we package and how do we run it, and how do we run it in Kubernetes and stuff like that. That is just the beginning. What we definitely plan to add, as I showed you, there is a MCP content already. Some MCP is there, but there'll be a more extended version of it where we start with MCP for DevOps, and we extend it to the level where we just don't use MCPs with chat, but we
Okay.
build something more useful like a agent, That is where I'm spending a lot of time on right now, right? My
Okay.
struggle, as I told you, is getting it to work with LLM, locally running LLM. That and then making it simpler for a DevOps engineer who may not be necessarily programmers. That's why N8N and those kind of things.
Yeah,
Because
programming is okay because I have
yeah, we will
Java
also bring
and
that. We will also bring that.
Python. Python also I'm comfortable
Yeah,
because in the last 5 years I had to use Python and learn Python. But
correct.
the only thing that I have no exposure to is machine learning. So will that be a concern or will that?
Machine learning is what you have to start with. So when
Okay.
you join this program, if you look at this program actually, because that is when I said that hillock you have to climb. And I understand this exactly because I have gone through that 8 to 8 months ago. And if you look at this program also, the very first thing that you start with is just foundations of AI ML. And where is that roadmap? Let me open it from here. So we start with AI/ML foundations. So I'll tell you where all it is covered and what part of it. So there is an entire course on that. That is what I am. Yeah, this is the course actually where you start with machine learning, LLMs, like what are parameters, what are the pre-training, fine-tuning. These are concepts, by the way, not like exact fine-tuning, prompt engineering, limitations. We also talk about agentic in the same way. That is the foundation. These four topics, and then we get into the MLOps foundation. Then we start building stuff here. We convert raw to model, the one notebooks I showed you. Then we also talk about a bit of ML algorithms. And these are not very uh, data sciencey language. This is a very simple to understand for anyone. Like what is a random forest with a simple example of like you have some problem, your family member is undergoing a surgery. Who do you ask? Like you ask a bunch of doctors, right? And then you take second opinion, third opinion. That's like a random forest. So you create forests and you ask multiples, and then you get opinions and then converge. Decision tree, like you want to give out a loan, and then I think generally it starts with a so disease diagnosis. So how do we detect the disease and so on. So again, we are explaining it very simple language. So it is a machine learning explained in a simple language, right? And that is where I said you have to build that foundation. Beyond that, it is a smooth sail for you because you understand everything else already as a DevOps engineer from a ML part of world. Of course, there'll be fine tuning and all that. I want to fine tune a model. In fact, I want to fine tune with Kubernetes specific knowledge and stuff for RC agents. So there are many ways to do that I'm discovering right now. So whatever I'm learning, we are going to bring in here as part of one of these programs and mini degrees. That is something I'm actively learning right now, like fine tuning of the actual model and all that. But concept wise, it is covered. Actual fine tuning, we will actually learn as well. By the way, you should follow. Again, this is not a very famous influencer or so, but he's a very good guy. He has built a agentic framework called as Praisen AI. Are you able to see my screen? Probably not. Oh, I've been talking without sharing my screen. Sorry about that. I was explaining to you using this. This is disease diagnostics problem, decision tree. This is random forest, which is another problem that we are solving, like your family member and a surgery and taking a second opinion and so on, right? So we kind of explain it that way, and that is the style we want to follow again to simplify it and make sure that as a DevOps engineer, you get everything that you need in order to progress from where you are.
Reason is that Mervin.
Melvin Present, yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So you should follow him. Good stuff, very useful stuff,
Okay.
very simple explanation, and AI wise, agentic and stuff. I'm learning a lot from him as well, and
Okay.
I follow him, and I'm using his framework. It's very good. It's
Okay.
one of the framework which is very understated, but it works.
Okay. Because I see people using Crew AI a lot.
It is there. A lot
Start
of
with.
big names. It does work sometimes, but MCP wise, my goal was very specific. Local
Okay.
LLMs,
Okay.
MCP, And that way I was researching on, and I found his framework to be good. Crow is good, LangGraph is good, but BAI worked for me better. BAI is again understated, very few stars, but it worked for me with MCP actually. So yeah, but you can explore, and whatever works for you, you should go with that. Yeah, perfect. So that's Hari. Thank you. We'll take the next question, Rehan. I think we are over time, but we'll stay for some more time. And in case if you want to, I think there were some questions in the chat about installment. Reach out to me on support@schoolofdevops.com. We will work out on the installment and all that stuff. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure that however much we can facilitate, we will. I'll take a few questions from the chat as well, and then we'll come to Rehan. Kiran has a question. Do you offer any personalized support for tracking individual progress? We are going to do group coaching, monthly check-ins, group coaching, not personalized, but group coaching where we all come together as a community and we talk about your progress. And I think Kiran, we spoke about this, so we will do that for sure. And I will add a individual coaching as an add-on if you want. But I think you should try group coaching. If that doesn't work, we can figure out the individual coaching as well. Only in that case, right? In my case, that should work because you'll also get to hear about everybody else's journey, how they are building it, and we kind of building a community here, right? So very supportive community we want to build there. Elizabeth has a question. During the demo, I saw more of quizzes than projects. Are there projects which help build enterprise relatable real world skills in the Minidegree? We have this entire project which is part of there are quizzes, and this is the project I'm explaining and building through labs as well. So there will be lab guides which will be made available to you as well to go through it. That is a guided project. And then as a challenge, we are bringing more projects. So there are more projects we are building. In fact, Jagdish and I was talking about it. We have another project on we're talking about ML right now. So there will be ML projects. There will be other projects as well later. So we have a wine tasting application. This is the house price, but I think there's a different organization that we have. So Jagdish, if you have a link, please share it. There is a wine testing classification problem that we have taken. So we will be taking up more problems, and we can also bring in more unguided projects, and that is the idea. So it will happen. It'll get added. Again, we are still kind of putting things into place. So you tell us what you want. We'll make sure that it happens, whatever is relevant. Can we build RAG-based Q&A conversational applications through Docker and K8s? Yes, you can. You host those with Docker and K8s mainly, be it RAG, be it VectorDB, be it API application. Generally, when you deploy it, you are going to use some sort of a container-based deployment. And yes, of course, if you have a very specific application related to Docker and Kubernetes and the knowledge base and all that, you can build a conversational agent. You can build use n8n to build that as well. If you have any specific use case like this, please bring in. We will see if we can build a project on it. Will this course cover only ML or extend to GenAI? Yes, the next thing that we bring in is LLMOps. LLMOps will be GenAI, RAGs, VectorDBs, and applications running on that. Mostly those are like wrappers and API applications. Once you understand ML, LLM becomes easier. And we will bring in, of course, the RAG and GenAI and then Agentic also. How relevant is this for architects? And can you please show the flow of this program and estimated timeline to finish it? Timeline is like we are estimating 2 months with partial efforts, like 4 to 5 hours, 5, 6 hours every week. That would translate into, I think we were talking about 60 days or 90 days kind of a challenge, but you can go faster or slower based on, you don't have to go slower than that actually. That itself is very mildly paced, and you can complete it in even a month or maybe 3 weeks if you're just working on it every day. How relevant this would be for architects? Honestly, this has been designed more specifically for practicing DevOps engineers. If you want to be hands-on guy, you can definitely benefit out of it. And if you want to get concept, there are conceptual parts, but then you can just take my Udemy course as well. So just search for me on Udemy and you can directly take those courses as well. I will share the links in case. So just send me a link, email to support, and I will share all the relevant courses. In fact, we have some courses from Vivian on AI. So those may benefit for you. Just drop us a line, Nitish, and we will share all the content that is relevant. We'll take questions from the folks in the chat. So Rehan, please go ahead. Rehan, Kumar, Prabhu, Mohan, and Mohammed. We're gonna go in that order.
Yeah. Hello. Hope you are doing well and everyone in the community is doing well.
Yeah.
So the first question is related to the price. Like if we pay whatever the X amount is, so it grants access to all the mini degrees, right? Upcoming ones and the existing ones as well.
All the mini degrees and all the courses. There are 28 plus 20, I think 28 courses right now. So all the courses that you see here and all the mini degrees. So this is all access content, no restrictions, nothing. 29 courses I see right now. So you get access to all the DevOps courses, cloud courses, containers, AI, upcoming and existing. So there is no restriction for that is for 1 year. So you'll have access to everything. You can take as many mini degrees, complete all the courses and any mini degrees that we roll out.
Yeah. Second question, I did paste few questions in the chat. So second question is, for locally running LMs, we do need a lot of good hardware. So do you suggest, going with it MacBook Pro or like how is it?
Recently, Jagdish bought a MacBook Air with, I think, but that is very powerful now. I have a Mac, so I'll tell you the difference, right? So I have a laptop which is M1 Mac, which is about, it's quite powerful actually, 16 GB, I think, and 10 cores and 10 GPUs. I can easily run 2, 3 LLMs models there, right? That's one. On my this machine, which is 8 GB, M1, but 8 GB, it struggles a little bit. But what you can do is on this, I can run certain models. Like you can go for small. So that's when I want to fine tune the model. The reason being, you don't need the knowledge of the world for something like Kubernetes, right? So a fine tuned model may work better. And if you look at models like Gemma 3, or I have been working with a few. One of that is called as Gemma 3. Are you able to see my screen? You are, right? So this model is small. This is by Google, and it works with single GPU. You can see that. You can, even there is a 800 MB or something like that model available with Gamma 3. There is Tiny Llama by I think this is the Meta thing. And you can, this is around 600, 700 MBs. So you see, you need, when you say a size of the model like 600 MBs, you are also consuming that much of memory actually, because it loads in the memory. So you're just considering that a sub 1 gig model works. But sometimes what happens is with when you talk about MCP, what I've realized is agentic systems need certain type of a model with something called as a function calling. The model has to have an ability to call a function. That is where I'm using certain models which are 3 GB and I think around 3 GB it works. So there is something called as Mistral. Uh, Mistral, a specific model of a Mistral. And then you can use small models, and I'm trying to fine tune some, but you can use small models as well. To try things, at least, you can use small models with maybe we can integrate it with some RAG, like context specific knowledge that may work better.
Yeah, another question. I think most of the folks have it as well. Will there be a, doubt resolution? Let's say while building up
Yes.
a project, we get stuck. So will there be a doubt team, that answers and help us get unstuck while building the project?
Yes, so we have two ways. One is Discord of async communication. So we have Discord channel for that. Second is we are planning to do this weekly co-working sessions for the same reason. So co-working session, we are not teaching again. We are just being there. Someone will be there, either people who are building, we are building together so we can help each other. That's one. Secondly, someone from my team will be there, our team will be there, at least for some fixed amount of time. And co-working hours can go for 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever, as long as you want. But we'll have some fixed hours where there'll be some mentors available to help you get
Yeah.
unstuck.
all the like I'm personally more interested in the AI Trinity degrees. So any timeline that you will be completing the other two degrees? Obviously, like MLOps has been launched, but
MLOps is launched. MLOps, I have two more modules to come this week. Then I start working on mostly agentic systems, so MCPs and stuff. And I want to work on that. So around by end of this month, I have want to have one rolled out, either Bionic or at least one more thing rolled out. And then next month I want another thing rolled out. I'm actively working because these are related actually. If you really look at it, there is a very subtle difference between agentic or Bionic DevOps and AIOps. AIOps is specific to RCA and stuff. I have one project already there, and MCP we have one project already there, but we want to build on top of that. So I think uh, by next month, or let's say July or mid-August, I want everything to be a three of Trinity should be there by, let's say, mid-August max.
and yeah, will you be
If that
teaching?
doesn't happen, we will also, if let's say I'm committing on that, if let's say end of July, if that doesn't happen, we'll extend it by your timeline by 1 month or 2 months, however long I take.
Yeah, and will you be including like because I was going through the MLOps syllabus, and will you be including like cloud services like
Yes.
Vertex AI, AI Foundry, SageMaker, deploying them, or like we
Yes.
have to separately?
No, no, we want to include everything. I'm working on SageMaker. Jagdish is going to work on Azure ML. So those two we are going to start with.
Okay, thank you
Vertex
so
will
much.
come later. Yeah.
Last
Sure.
suggestion I have is like it would be great if you know like, have the prerequisites listed because people ki le le फिर बाद में like they will think अरे shit we are in trouble. So if you can
Right.
have the prerequisites for everything, that
Makes
would
sense.
be really great and have clear distinction. And yeah, thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Rehan, and thanks for that suggestion. I think we'll add the prerequisite section for these. Perfect. Thank you, Rehan. Kumar, you're next. Questions?
Yeah, hi, Gaurav. First of all, thank you very much. As others have said already, I've been following you on LinkedIn for quite some time. I really appreciate all the work and the teaching that you have been doing for the community. As kind of another member in the community, really appreciate that. And again, a lot of questions you've already answered. Rehan asked those questions, but
Thank you.
just want to confirm once again, right? So all these mini degrees plus courses will be available for anyone who pays this fee, right? And that validity is for 1 year, you said, right? Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
1 year from today.
1 year from the date of purchase, yes.
Okay. And all, I mean, within that 1 year, I think you also have got a lot of, paths where you have mentioned about mini degrees in GitOps and a lot of other stuff, right?
Yes,
So,
that
and all
see
these
that
will be launched within this year?
no, that will be launched in next 15 days because I have the content. I just have to put it in a structure. So it is already
Oh,
there.
okay.
Somebody's working on it.
Mhm.
DevSecOps is done. GitOps, somebody's working on it right now. So we have one, we can plan one every day because that is not something I need to create content for. That I just
Okay.
need to put it in structure, gamify it, add the content that somebody else can do. I've delegated that already. So somebody is
Okay.
working on it, and those we plan to roll out. The DevOps part we'll plan to roll out in like next 2 weeks, because and that also has content that I built for let's say earlier DevSecOps content and all that that I built for Linux Foundation, which is also available under license for our platform. So that's actually very useful content. DevSecOps one, there is GitOps, Flux CD, and all, and there's
So you
algorithm.
just need to structure that and put it in place.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only
It's
thing.
that the only content I need to work on is AIOps,
Okay.
Agentic or Bionic DevOps, and then later on, after that, we'll also add LLM ops and everything else, cloud and
AIOps, I think you also have played a video, right, where you're kind of
that is a
technically
micro
talking about
course. Yes,
RCA.
that is going to be one project. That's just one project, right? But we need to create like 10 projects or so. So that is the kind of
Mhm.
scale we want to bring in.
Okay. 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 All right. Understand. And one more question that I have is like, I mean, do we need to learn Python to at least start working on
Yes.
this mini degree? Okay, that is
Not
a
to start with
prerequisite, right?
MLOps, not to start with MLOps, because MLOps course has been designed in a way that you are not doing programming, you are focusing on MLOps, you are understanding the process, yes, you are understanding the algorithms also, but not getting into Python. But I've realized that you definitely need Python, And when I've started building agents now, most of that is Python work. So yes, we will add that content also. So whatever you need, we will have to add it, right? So we must add at least Python part. I was just talking to Jagdish today itself, and we were discussing like what components of Python we need and all that. So we will add Python content for sure.
Okay, okay, I understand that is going to be a prerequisite even before we start on this MLOps degree.
Agentic, you need a prerequisite. If you want to get into ML engineering, it is definitely a prerequisite. MLOps, right now, it is a bit of a dicey thing, but Python anyways is useful, so we will add the content for Python.
Okay, okay. Quick question before probably you can talk about this, right? So, I mean, is this ready live today so that you can probably, or do you have some time to get this launched?
MLOps, you mean?
Yes.
MLOps is ready. So what I show you is live, actually. What I showed you here is live. So when you log in, what happens is you go to this page,
Okay.
and what you have is here, right? Now this will get iterated, but MLOps is something you can start. MLOps has a prerequisite, which is AIML Explorer, and you start with that. You start with this mission, and that mission takes you to a course which is already there, like these lessons, and you can go through it, or you can directly go through the course, and this takes you to the course which is completely ready. Okay. And then MLOps, 9 missions are there. I think 1 or 2 missions I have to add. That will happen in next 2 days. But I'll show you what all is there and what all is what I'll have to add. Uh, MLOps wise, we have, so all of this is there. All of this is there. So there is this part. I have the content. I have to record it because I've taught
Okay.
this in my workshop already. This I
Okay.
have to build it. So these two I have to build, but otherwise everything is there. And then there'll be one more on, there is something called as model drift monitoring with evidently AI. That will be added. So 3 sections I have to add, which happens by Friday.
Okay. Okay. And one last thing, can I also assume that all the other content that you have delivered on Udemy and CNC and other places, right? They are kind of there in your website for which you get de facto access by paying this amount.
Sorry, can you repeat that question? All the
My
content?
question was all the content that you have kind of delivered in other platforms like Udemy, and you're also ordered a couple of content for CMC, etc. Right? So do you have that content already available on your website,
Yes,
or I
I'm
mean, is there
licensed
any
to do
delta?
that. When I sign a contract with CNCF or Linux Foundation rather, not CNCF, then Linux Foundation is the parent body. There is a clause where I can distribute that content, so that will be available. And then all the Udemy content, Udemy I just publish courses, nothing else. And some courses, not all, but all courses are available here. Not all are
Okay.
available on Udemy, but everything on
Mhm.
Udemy will be available here. So vice versa is true because there are some licensed content where I work with Linux Foundation and stuff that is exclusively available here.
Okay. Thank you very much, Varun. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Thank you. All right. So yeah, Prabhu, go ahead, please. I think we spoke
Hey, hi, Gaurav.
few
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah. It's a really nice session, and thanks, Gaurav and team, for organizing this. Enjoyed a lot. Uh, I have a question, but the question is about where we will be standing after the mini degree completed. Like, how can we forecast ourselves, our skill set, and beat the market and get into the means. Of course, the course that we are
Correct.
signing up, it's for our skills and utilize our skills on the market and moving forward, right?
Correct.
So how would you means what's the plan? You have something, or how can we how to say focus, or what to say um
Understand. I think this is a very important question for everyone, even people who didn't ask this question, because when you go through this program, what is the outcome of it, right? Where do you stand?
yeah.
Would you get a job? Can you get a consulting project with that? So that is where, in terms of MLOps, machine learning as a traditional machine learning and building the entire workflow from model to inference to monitoring to retraining the pipelines and all of that, that you are going to get comfortable with, right? Now, is that enough to get a MLOps job as of now? There are right now there are a lot of expectations when it comes to MLOps positions. We are looking at that, and there is definitely a little not this much is not gonna be sufficient for you. So whatever else is needed, for example, Python, for example, understanding of LLM ops, because a lot of new applications are coming up with LLMs, RAGs, and vector DBs and all that, right? That content we plan to add as we go along. So this journey is not something that we are starting here and then saying that, hey, you're done with this and you're now on your own. No, that is where we want to build a community, and we want to make sure we bring in all the content that matters to you in future, and that would, until it get to the point that you are able to benefit out of it, we kind of want to build that journey for you. That is something I can commit with. And will that be enough to get a job immediately? If you are already working in an organization where there are ML projects, yes, you will be able to contribute to that for sure. But will you get a new job in MLOps just based on this one mini degree? I would say right now, no. But until that happens, we will keep on trying, we will keep on iterating, we'll keep on making sure that it happens, basically. That is the commitment we can offer. But we'll have to build more content for sure. And that is going to be LLM. Maybe. So right now what happens is there are two types of, uh, this is where organizations are getting confused. A lot of companies ask for everything, and it's like a full stack development, right? Full stack data scientist is what they are looking for. And the data scientist who does MLE, who does a deployment, inference, everything. That doesn't happen really. But they are expecting that. And even for MLOps roles, they're expecting you to know about data science and ML engineering and all of that. That is where I'm saying that that will take a little bit of time to get clearer. But the moment that happens, you will be the first in the line to get the opportunities on MLOps as a DevOps engineer. When you know that, and when you can demonstrate that you have the knowledge and you can build projects, you will be the first one. And in the last company I trained MLOps at, there are 3 DevOps engineers sitting there. In fact, you can see the post on that on LinkedIn as well. There are 3 DevOps engineers, and they were the most contributing in the program. So they have the most knowledge. But right now, the situation is people are asking for the moon, even for the MLOps, and that is not going to be practical. So eventually, it will come to the point where, as a DevOps engineer, you will be definitely be able to contribute to those kind of projects, and you'll have the knowledge and skills required to get started. And we'll keep on building projects. We'll keep on iterating over it as we go along. That is what it looks like right now. I just want to give you a very honest picture of this.
Yeah, it's really nice, Gaurav. I got the picture. And
Awesome.
one more thing, Gaurav, like means we are in an shared community, right? Like LinkedIn. Means whatever recognition or gamification that we have here and the points
Oh,
and things
perfect.
we are getting in real ops. Is there something kind of means projecting that in our shared platform,
Exactly.
like
Perfect. This is a good question. I think both of these questions matter a lot. And that's why when I say we're building a system where you should be able to showcase your work and all that, right? This is not just a framework. This is not just a theory. How do you showcase your work? Is we offer you the digitally verifiable batches, just like CKA, for example. Now we are not competing. We are not competing with anyone, or we are saying that we are CKA or we are authentic and that big and all. We are not, and we don't want to. We want to. I mean, people will automatically recognize if we are providing value. That's one. Right now, we are not a big deal to market, and we don't. We're not that brand right now. And we understand that, but we definitely offer the digitally verifiable certificate. So what happens is this is a system which is automatically set up. So when you complete these missions, and this is automatic, I mean, you're not giving any external thing and all, an exam and all. When you complete these missions, when you come reach here, you automatically get on your email, you will get a certificate. I'll show you how that will look like. So basically, at the completion, when all of this is completed and when you get certified here, this gets on an email which you can add as a digitally verifiable badge. I just, for a demo, I have this here. So it will look like this: School of DevOps Certified MLOps Practitioner, we're going to call it. And you can see the credential ID, and you can click on this and it takes you to Badger. Just like, let's say I have this course maintainer badge, which is like a CKA badge. So this is a
oh,
verifiable badge. And why
got
did
it.
you get it? When did you get it? which date it was allotted to you, whom, all of that is here. This is called as open badging platform. And there is Badger, there is Credly, Linux Foundation. For example, this course developer is a batch, and that also is similar. So it will basically, you're gonna get a digitally verifiable batch, which looks similar to this.
No. Okay. I have one last question.
Yeah.
That's oh,
Yeah, it's similar to this. That's what I wanted to show you.
okay. No problem. And you were talking about the contributors or someone who can come up and support the program, right? So
Correct.
what kind of contribution it is like? See, why I'm asking this is we plan our structure of course, and when I try to search for the job descriptions regarding MLOps, most of the job descriptions are inclined towards any specific ML tools, means ML pipeline tools like ML flow
Workflow,
or
ML flow, and all
Kubeflow,
that.
all that, and some cloud supported or cloud providers tools like SageMaker, Azure ML, things like that. So I'm comparing this both, like job market is asking some job description, and you are means you are open for contributors. And how does that work? Means like as a contributor, like I'm learning from you, and if I have an opportunity to contribute something, um, means how can it start, and
We can take that as
what
sync.
is the support? Yeah.
We can figure out the ways. I'm talking to a few people, including we have Jagdish here. So we need mentors, we need content creators, we need people who can help everyone else also in the community and create content in the process. And as you said, yes, that is the plan. So I think I'll share this in the link somewhere. I have a page for that. I created a roadmap where we started with MLOps and then LLM ops, then cloud, one Kubernetes. So I have Docker already. So there will be Kubernetes. That is where we bring in Kserve and the rest of the family, and kubeflow also. So that will happen. But my thing is, you can start with a workflow tool, and then you can move to, like, if you are already aware of Argo workflow, you can use that for ML. I already have a course on Argo workflow, but not ML specific, but it is there. So similarly, Kubeflow, Argo workflow, there is ML, there is another tool, Metaflow, that Netflix uses. If you're a Python developer, you like Python tools, so Metaflow is there. And Kubernetes specific is Kubeflow. If you want non-Kubernetes thing, there is Airflow. So that's why there are these many tools, and companies use different tools based on their setup. If they are Kubernetes native, they'll use Kubeflow or something or similar Argo workflow. If they are not, if they have many sources, they use Airflow, because Airflow is like Apache Airflow works with Kubernetes, non-Kubernetes, data pipeline, this pipeline, that pipeline, works at scale. So that's why that tool. So there are different tools, but once you understand one, that's when we bring in the transfer learning. So you understand one, let's say we take Kubeflow, and then you can apply, just like Jenkins versus GitHub Actions, it will be something else, and we can bring those as projects. And if you want to contribute, yes, we are willing to engage with you, so we can take that sync.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks, Gaurav and team, and it's really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. And we'll take the next question. We're still we're half an hour out, extended, but we'll take the questions. I'll be here for a few more minutes. So if you want to stay on, I want to stay. I'm okay to stay on as well. So Mohan. Mohan, you have questions?
Hey, I Gaurav here. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Gaurav. Thank you very much. The session, it's very informative. So my question is, since I'm working on Kubernetes platform, so recently we started we are building Kubernetes platform for entire organization. So we are getting a lot of requests from the end user side, like troubleshooting. Okay. So my question is, since I saw that RCA Agentic, so I'm very impressive that RCA
I
Agentic.
can share the GitHub repository with you.
Yeah. Is it possible to I can take this RCA Agentic session, or I need to go through, course one by one, then I can reach to RCA.
No, if you are
I can.
comfortable understanding setting up Prometheus and Grafana and Loki, and then you can just set up the RCA agent and do a demo or use that. It's an open source thing, Agentic AIOps RCA, and I'm actually building multiple versions of it. This is one that I demonstrated is here, and there's a Streamlit app. This works well. This did work well. So you can try this out. I have shared this in the link. It's open source license we have added anyway, so you can use it. MIT.
Sure. Thank you. The second question, when we are talking, right, agents, if we are deploying on production, it should be some lightweight agent. So, are we focusing on lightweight agents? I mean,
Yes.
are we doing any performance tunings and we are putting just this is going in productionized environment. It's not
Correct.
without production, right?
You can use no, this is not a production grade right now. With production grade, you can use a framework like BAI framework, right? So these agents are lightweight because this is a Python code,
Okay. So
right?
are you including this all the things in your session, right?
We will add that eventually.
Yes.
We'll start with no code agent, N10, and then eventually we will add whichever works. So I have, see, you can see my work already. See, the Agentic DevOps has, I have all the working, this is just working code, by the way. I've tried like 10 times of this, but this BAI works. That's why I put it in here. Agentic AIOps is the one I demonstrated. This is the MCP thing, and I think this is something else I have. But these things definitely worked for me, and that's why I'm putting it here. But I have tried many other frameworks apart from this. So whichever works we'll bring in. And when you talk about agent are lightweight. Only LLM, if you're building LLM and including that, that will have some kind of that can be heavyweight. But agent themselves can be like any other applications and Python applications, so not very heavy.
Okay. Yeah. Last question. I actually I mean almost 1 year back. Okay, I was working in Python. Okay, I mean last 1 year I didn't touch any code level in Python. So they need to refresh my Python knowledge,
Yes,
right, to
correct.
start this course, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So is
yes.
there any
That's why.
specific library I need to follow? Any specific
Async
MLOps
is what
library for
everyone
Python?
uses for Python. Okay, because for agents, one of the things that you delegate the work and do it asynchronously. So async is what you should definitely know how that works. And you can just look at the code here. I'll suggest you frameworks. So see, async is everyone kind of uses that for this async IO, right? And then like everything else is like JSON, and there are some specific libraries for the frameworks. So to find the best answer to this, I will show you how to find an answer to this is you look at these frameworks. So BAI, if you want to work on agentic things, right?
Yes.
So you look at LangGraph, you look at BAI. I will share all these links with you, and you will yourself be able to find out what kind of code is written here because everything has a sample code out there. So you can just look at the code and find out like, oh, this is what I really want to use. And I will share another, my agentic micro course goes live sometime this week with Linux Foundation. Once it is live, I'll share a link on LinkedIn. So just follow me on LinkedIn. I'll share a link with that. And that has some 4 frameworks compared actually, and their code as well. So I'm comparing with the code blocks, so you can actually get some learning from there. So you can also
Okay.
try this. So just look at the frameworks, right? So that will give you a very good idea about what all you need to learn in terms of Python.
Okay.
But
Thank
async
you.
is
Thanks.
definitely async IO is something you should get started with.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mohan. Mohammed Bakas, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, thank you.
Hey, Mohammed.
Okay, yeah, so I feel like I am at the wrong place, but I'm still gonna ask my question. Like
Go
I'm
ahead.
new to DevOps. I'm new to DevOps. Like I have no clue what it is. I have never been into the development field. I've been a school teacher for past 7 years. So I'm just trying to learn about DevOps because that's what caught my eye. So I just started taking one of your course, like a bootcamp course on Udemy. So
Mhm.
that's how like I got introduced to few. So literally I was at the half point of the course where I saw your link, and when I went on the link and there was this webinar scheduled after 1 hour, so I just got registered myself.
Perfect.
Right, so I just wanted to talk to you. So like I just want to learn about DevOps. So
Sure.
I really don't have any idea. I don't have any background in programming field. I did work for
Got it.
like 6 months with the PHP as a PHP junior programmer,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. It was like in 2012 or something. So
Sure.
I just want your course, like that boot camp is really comprehensible. I did try to find other courses as well, but you sound more comprehensible to me. So what I'm looking for, like there were a lot of like issues like there were in the course, like at some point you were trying to install some Node.js 4.8.6, and you troubleshooted it on the video, like you made a video about it. I couldn't get what were you doing. So all I'm looking for, like I just want you to guide me, or like if you have any course like available where I can get uh, like from scratch to deployment, like DevOps, whatever we do in DevOps, right?
Got it.
So like so I just like from my perspective, I made few applications in like Code Igniter back in 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is like I just want to like put it into the DevOps
Sure.
area in the
You
field.
have you're connected on LinkedIn?
No, we are not actually.
Okay, just send me a link or send me a hi on LinkedIn with this question. I'll
Mhm.
share resources. I'll also share a link to a guy you can follow because he's the one who has taken a similar journey. He started as a nurse and he switched himself into DevOps. So see what happens is I started as a ops guy, and when I started teaching, I was already a DevOps at a certain level. So if you start listening to me on DevOps, you'll probably it will fly
Mhm.
past most of that, right? So
Yeah.
you should go with someone who is maybe 2 steps ahead, and he's the one who has transitioned from non-DevOps to DevOps, so he will understand your struggles, and maybe he's the one who may want to start following. That's one. Having said that, go through, just sign up for this. I'm building a free version of our program for the 3 foundational mini degrees. So you start with DevOps Explorer. This was a course which was published on edX by Linux Foundation. This was an introduction. So this is also taught by some college students also used to go through it, and they used to benefit out of it. So DevOps Explorer is the program you start with. That takes you to a introductory session on DevOps and SRE. So you start with that. Then you go to DevOps Bootcamp. I think we are referring to Ultimate DevOps Bootcamp that I have, which is more
Yeah.
intense, more hands-on. So go through this first, and then you go through that. Then you'll have a better idea. And then I think you connect with me on LinkedIn. I can help you with however much I can with the resources to get started.
Sure. Thank you so very much.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Mohammed. All right. Jagdish K, you have a question? Or you want to share something?
No, I was just going to make some few comments. I think we can go for
Go ahead.
others to cover their question, and then probably I'll speak for
Welcome.
a
Okay,
couple
no
of
problem.
minutes.
Thank you, Jagdish. So we'll come back to Jagdish. By the way, Jagdish is a expert in ML and MLOps. So if you have any ML specific questions, we have an expert too, and we can probably do another live session if you guys are interested in with Jagdish just to answer the ML questions. Uh, okay, we have Elizabeth. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you so much for this session. And thank you for continually giving to the community.
Thank you.
I know that you've always pushed about projects, like having hands-on experience, so that it can help boost one's chance in getting a job. So in all of these courses that you have in School of DevOps, are, are there like very much project inclined, or it's more of just courses and then you have streaks for completing those courses? Because I'm really looking towards a structured, like a learning course that has a lot of
More of a
projects built
project.
into. Yeah, exactly.
So, are you specifically looking for any particular journey or like a particular like DevOps or MLOps or AIOps or What is it exactly that you're looking for so that I can guide you accordingly?
Um, I'm looking at DevOps particularly,
Sure.
and you mentioned the agentic DevOps too, so it's also something I want to dive into.
Sure.
I've worked as a DevOps engineer.
Perfect.
Yeah, but I've changed my location. I relocated, and it's kind of tough getting another opportunity based on different terrains, basically. So
Right.
I'm just looking at like doing
Sure.
projects that would help me to be able to stand out.
So when you look at the courses that I have, most of those take the way it is structured is even if you look at courses, if it just looks like lessons, but each of this is one project which is being broken down into different modules, and each module builds on top of another. So it's not like a random project here and here and here. Most of the projects like take Kubernetes or take Ansible. So we take one project, one large project, break it down into modules, and then we build it module by module so that you do a bite-sized learning. So we break it into like, oh, if it is Ansible, we start with simple Ansible setup, then we add a playbook, then we add the roles, then we make it more modular with variables and templates, then we add maybe another way of running deployments and stuff, right? And then maybe Ansible tower, so it builds on top of another. And then there is a little bit of concepts, but a lot of let's say hands-on activities that you would do as part of that, basically, right? And you can start with any course, and we also have the, let's say, you go through a course, and if you're not satisfied for whatever reason, you can just ask for a refund as well, right? So we all also have like 1 month refund policy there. So in case if you feel like there are not enough projects or not enough content that you're looking for, you can always do that, or you can just go for any Udemy course that I have and go through it. Or anyone who is interested in just Udemy courses, drop me a line on support at school of, or just send me a message on LinkedIn. That's the best way you can connect with me, because I'm active on LinkedIn and I do actively answer things there. So you can ask there and you can check in and find out how this is. And then DevOps wise, we also have a very large project, couple of those actually, one on CI/CD, one on I call it as the Ultimate DevOps Bootcamp. So that's a microservices application stack yeah, that you build. Plus I have now I'm bringing another project for DevOps actually. I created an application because I was not happy with the open source applications that I was using for the projects, and I created this just to make sure that this becomes more like a learning project. So if you want to build just projects, you can also try this application and practice with this. This is a good project to practice because this has been created specifically for learning DevOps. Microservices shows you everything like versioning. For example, you'll also know whether it is running in Kubernetes or not, whether it is running in container or not, what is the IP address, so that your load balancing, you know exactly what this is. You know which version it is. You see the dashboard. You don't have to set up anything monitoring wise initially. You have tests. Most of the open source application don't have tests. So integration tests, unit tests are all there. So when you build CI and CD, you need real tests, and that's why I built this application just specifically for learning. Now this is not added to the course yet, but it will be when I refresh my DevOps bootcamp, and we will actually add projects based on this. That is what we are bringing in to our platform as well, like the weekly project, and in fact will be based on this now. But you can go through the courses, and there are hands-on, but if you feel like there is no enough, you can always contact us and we'll refund you in case if you're not happy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any other questions, folks? All right, I think I'm just gonna review this from chat and then we'll close the session. Ian says, yeah, thank you, Ian, for appreciating. Yeah, Craftista is, I spend a lot of time. In fact, this was the time when LLMs used to hallucinate. I built it using AI, especially just using ChatGPT last year, and 70% I could build very fast. 30% took me more than 70% of the time. So there was a lot of LLM hallucination and all of that. And I just built it myself because I was fed up of all the open source application that I came across. And I wanted to build something solid with everything that I needed. And now I think if I build it again, it would be much faster for me. That's what I would expect. With cursor AI and the context that you can add and so on, it's much, much better. But this is a good application to play around with. All right. So, okay. Thank you, Ian, for sharing the links and mentioning about YouTube. I'm not very active on YouTube, but I plan to add more content on that. It's just that you have these many hours in the day, and I focus more on the content that you are looking at, and that adds a lot of value for sure. But that doesn't give me a lot of time to build a lot of YouTube content. And thank you, everyone. I think we'll close the session. So thank you, everyone. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can also drop us a line on support at schoolofdevops.com. And one final announcement is if you are an existing member and if you want to upgrade to this plan, Minidegree and the accelerator plan, do reach out to us and we'll set up the coupon. We'll have some, the offers for you being existing members, and based on which membership you have, we will have some specific offers for you, which we can extend to you, right? So let's get started building stuff. Let's stay curious and let's start building the real world skills. So thank you very much. And I'll see you in probably another live session, and I look forward to see you as part of the Minidegree program. Thank you, and all the best with your journey from here on. Bye-bye.